I am joined now by Bonnie Hyun. She is the U.S. Head of Capital Markets. Bonnie, it's so great to have you back on the show today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So let's talk about this year's biggest headlines that are going to be discussed at this year's Tech Summit here at the NYSE.
Where do I start? I mean, it's amazing to kind of see how this Tech Summit has evolved since 2017 when we first did it. And the reason why we decided to put it together was really to bring together this next generation of technology leaders that are now part of our NYSE community, such as Snowflake, ServiceNow, SentinelOne. And so really to think about sort of what is top of mind. There's so many things. I would say that, by far the reason why we have such a great showing of companies coming here is because every company is a tech company. Mm-hmm. And as this is an amazing place, it all really happens here.
And talk to me about how events like this can shape the broader tech sector.
Sure. So as we know, tech is so ever evolving so fast, and being from the Bay Area and being in sort of one of the hyper aspect of tech, it's really great to make sure that we are able to share all that amongst that community. And when I say that community, I mean, as you mentioned in your beginning, it's not only just our listed companies, but these startups that are really trying to innovate and disrupt and change the ways that we work, mm-hmm. we live, we learn.
Can you give us a little bit of a preview and to our viewers as to what we can expect at this year's Tech Summit? Who are some of the keynote speakers? Who are some of the attendees? What are the discussions going to be focused around, and what will they discuss during the panels?
Sure. So that's a lot of questions there.
It was a loaded question.
But I think honestly, we were hoping to, and we have about 150 people coming, and it's really, as you mentioned, the C-level technology executives who really care about productivity, who really care about how do we make sure that we're building the next right stack to help operationalize and make our businesses better, mm-hmm. help our salespeople generate more revenue, anything like this, right? And so I think it is really sort of an amazing folks from Oracle, from ServiceNow, from Accenture, but also combining, as I mentioned, some of these amazing startups that are also changing things, such as corporate travel with Navan, such as how we think about the most important things around cyber with Sneak. And mm-hmm. So again, those kind of conversations I think are really happening, not just at the summit today, but it really started actually last night when we had a trading floor reception for, and had people be able to mingle and collaborate and have those conversations.
And these conversations are so essential to how businesses do business. And it's happening here at the New York Stock Exchange, yes. especially as we're seeing the rapid development of AI technologies being implemented into business models across various sectors, right? So it's so important that we are also at the forefront of these conversations. But talk to me more about what emerging trends you see coming up the pipeline for the rest of 2024, maybe even 2025, and if any excite you specifically.
Yeah, and you're spot on there, Trinity. I think, not only is that, we convene amazing people around tech and that every single company is tech, we're also a technology company, yes. right? So again, when we think about how we've digitized the way that, equities are traded, the way that we're doing it in mortgage technology, all those things make us such a great place to have these types of conversations. But I go back to, just like it started, I think probably in 2023, mm-hmm. it's AI. So it's no longer just about LLMs, but really sort of how does that really get implemented into large organizations, right? Like the financial services industries, like the healthcare industries. And so you think about sort of, and a lot of conversations around the use cases, around deployment, about the challenges. I think all those things, because AI is the biggest wave I've seen in a really long time. And people are so excited. And also having the VCs come in and really talk about what they're seeing in terms of these companies that are being formed and raising so much money to really kind of see see how we can leverage GPT or leverage Anthropic or any of those guys to really, again, propel their business forward.
And speaking of raising capital for investment purposes, let's talk to our viewers a little bit more about how the NYSE platform can help smaller stage startups connect with investors.
Absolutely. So we believe, again, that there's such a big ecosystem of not only the startup companies, but also the VC community, and also, I should not forget, the PE community, because they're making a lot of headway there as well into tech. And I think that it's very important to align these people together. And we've been able to, host many events here at the NYSE, whether it's dinners on the trading floor, whether it's receptions in the boardroom, to really bring together, as you mentioned, the venture capitalists with the CEOs, with the founders, so that again, everyone's understanding and getting a sense of how quickly things are changing, what are those trends, and how, again, once becomes a little bit more mature, how large companies are going to implement them.
Yeah, exactly, and with over 2,400 listed companies here at the NYSE, and we host quite a number of events, more than 3,000 every single year, and it's events like the Tech Summit that are bringing capital and investors and also those startups together, and it's all happening here. Thank you so much, Bonnie, for joining us today.
Yeah, and one other thing to add, that's really a good thing that you brought up with 2,400 companies, because that 2,400 companies actually represent 80+% of public company IT spend. So again, it just really emphasizes why we are a really great place to host this and these kinds of conversations.
Thank you again, Bonnie, for joining us.
Thank you.